Guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Today's episode is motivation and advice for those who are studying medical coding independently. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. I am Blue. I'm a medical coder. Okay, guys. So this message is for those of you who are studying independently. Maybe you are going through the AHIMA, the American Health Information Management Association online medical coding training program, or maybe you're going through AAPC, the American Academy of Professional Coders online training program, or maybe you are kind of on your own at a school and you're kind of wondering how do you navigate this all on your own? How do you keep motivated and how do you stay focused when it's really you that's kind of out there on this boat sailing around on your own? How do you get to where you want to go, which is to pass your test as a certified medical coder? So this message applies to anybody as far as like that goes. I'm not talking about one particular association or the other, all right? This goes for any one of them. I did get a couple messages this week from a viewer about this, so I'm going to share the email and then we're going to get into it. So let us begin. All right, so the viewer says, "Hey Blue, hope you're doing well. I wanted to tell you thank you for your encouraging content. I really appreciate that you really motivate me and people that are going through studying right now. Although sometimes I get frustrated and a little down because I'm too slow on the program. I started the AHIMA program late in January, and you only get a year to finish the program. And I think I won't finish the whole thing, and I want to complete it to get the micro credentials that they give you for completing the program, even though my goal is to get the CCA certification, Certified Coding Associate. Right now, I'm a little more than halfway through the terminology section and already finished anatomy and physiology, but going through the whole book, doing the chapter exercises really takes me time. I know you always say that we have to dedicate 20 hours a week at least, and I'm trying my best, and I'm only doing like 15 to 17. And things are a little tight right now for me. Everything's gotten so expensive, and I have to work more hours to make more money to take care of my family. Blue, sometimes I feel like I'm wasting my time. I wish I could start again and do things differently by not wasting time and learning the basics for anatomy and just the word parts for terminology, because I think going through those ebooks has gotten me a lot of time, taken a lot of time, but regardless, I will continue and I won't give up. I wanted to ask you how important those micro credentials are for completing the whole program, and also if I could just do the biomedical and the medical coding sections and skip the health information management part. Anyways, I will do my best to get everything finished before it expires in January. I really hope that you can reply to this email and give me some feedback on the situation. Thank you very much for everything you do. Take care." All right, guys, here's the thing. I have a very, very booked schedule right now. I actually have no openings on my calendar until after August the 14th. And today is July the 16th. That is how tight and booked I am right now. I do work a full-time job. I work 40 hours a week, plus I run a YouTube and a Patreon channel and everything else that I'm doing in my own personal life right now. So things are a little tight. So if you do not hear from me, please make sure that you are going through my videos, because usually if it's something that's I've talked about before, I'll let the person find it on their own. So you may or may not get a immediate response, but let's just know that out of the way, okay? Here's the thing. When it comes to AHIMA and their micro credentials, no one is asking for micro credentials. They want you to be certified. So employers don't care about this micro credential thing, okay? This may be just a marketing strategy for AHIMA. I don't know. I'm with AHIMA, I'm certified with AHIMA, but I never really understood the whole meaning behind those micro credentials, because either you're certified or you're not. I mean, you can have formal training on like your anatomy and physiology and medical terminology and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, employers want to see credentials. So I'm not really concerned about micro credentials for completing a program. You cannot skip anything when you are in the AHIMA 13 course bundle. Do not skip anything. All of these courses are meant to be built upon each other, meaning that everything that you're gaining from these courses is building on the next one, okay, to kind of give you a whole and full comprehensive training. That is why they have all of those there. They're not going to give you a class that you are not going to need or is not going to be relevant to what you are doing. So do not skip anything, especially if you've already paid for the program. Now, as far as, I always feel like when people tell me, well, Blue, you say to do 20 hours, but I only did 15 or 17. Some people tell me that they do 10. Some people tell me that they can only do 5. You don't have to bargain with me, guys. I mean, I'm telling you as a veteran medical coder and as somebody who's been in this field since 2008, I have nothing to sell you. There is nothing that I can gain from whether you become a medical coder or not. This is entirely on you. This is not on me. I am just trying to help you. If you choose not to follow my advice, that is entirely up to you. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to put 20 hours in. But I'm telling you now that if you want to be successful on these exams, I've taken 3 with AHIMA and I've passed every single one of them on the first try. I'm telling you, if you want to be successful, you need to make the time. 20 hours is doable. Do you know how I know? Because I've done it so many times. Not only that, I took 2 certification exams last year, and I know for many of you that have been with my channel, you already know my story, but for those who do not know, I took 2 certification exams last year. The CCSP, which is the Mastery of the Outpatient Setting, I took that. I didn't really have to study, but I did study because I've been in the outpatient setting since 2008. And I was able to pass that one on the first try. The one that I really had to buckle down and study was for the CCS, because that is a monster. If you are out there and you're independently studying, you've never been a medical coder, and you want to sit for the CCS, it is like playing Major League Baseball. That exam does not play. The CCA also does not play, because it is the junior version of the CCS exam, meaning that it covers both inpatient coding and outpatient coding. You must understand and know ICD-10-CM, ICD-10-PCS, and the CPT manual. You must be proficient in all of these in order to be able to be ready and prepared. But it's not just that. There's other things. There's HIPAA. There's all the other things. There's the payment methodologies and all the other things that are on the AHIMA website. You have to look at all of the domains, all right? So if you've already paid for the program with AHIMA, you need to make sure that you complete everything. Now, how do you get everything done when you're going through the entire book? Okay. You have time during the day where there's pockets of time where you're not doing anything, whether it is driving or whether it is coming in from work and you're just messing around on your phone, or you're cooking. During this time, you can actually listen. Listening is a part of learning. If you are not listening while you are learning, you are wasting time. It is not just about sitting in front of a book and reading. There are some people that's how they learn, but there are other people that they need to have a variety of methods to learn. This is why when we're in school and when we're in grade school, right, the teacher always put the border up with all the letters and the numbers so that we could constantly have that stimulus of those letters and numbers all around us. It is the exact same thing if you are in studying mode for medical coding. You need to have the anatomy posters up. You need to have all of the rules about HIPAA. You need to have them up where you can see them. You need to have it up where you are going over the coding guidelines and you're walking through it and you're thinking about it. You can read them. They are downloadable for free on the CMS website, and you can study those. Knowing your coding guidelines is going to help you be faster when you're trying to think of what code to get, okay? Because the AHIMA exams do not play. The AAPC exams do not play. Yes, AAPC is they have their set up differently from the AHIMA exams. The AHIMA exams are set up in two sections. There's your multiple choice, and then there's your case studies. So you have to be a fast reader. There is not going to be an excuse when you get in there. Well, I know I should have been studying, but I was only able to study this much. If you're only able to study this much, which is insufficient, that's not going to set you up for success when you go to take your certification exam. You need time to practice. How do we get that time? If you are driving to work in the morning, you've got 30 minutes drive in the morning. You can look on YouTube. I am not going to share the channels that I recommend on YouTube because it falls on deaf ears, it seems. Whenever I give the ones here, I put them in the community tab all the time. People still ask me, or they have something to say about that channel. So I have shared it on my Patreon channel. If you are interested, you can check my Patreon channel. But that is a membership, and it goes to support my efforts to get education. That's what that channel is for, and those funds. So you certainly don't have to subscribe past a month. It is $10. You get access to everything I've ever posted, videos and slide decks and quizzes and all that good stuff, crosswords, word searches. I've done it all. But yeah, you have access to all of that. So that being said, when you are going through and you're listening to whatever YouTube channel is about medical terminology or anatomy, because there are many good channels on YouTube that talk about anatomy, medical terminology, even HIPAA. There's even a HIPAA channel that talks about HIPAA, all right, on YouTube. So you can just listen to that. That's 30 minutes that you already done listen to something, right? It's not going to make sense, but you're having that stimulus, right? Your brain's getting that stimulus. Then you have your lunch break. Again, another time that you can put in another 30 minutes of listening. You can sit there with your sandwich and you can eat it. And yes, I said sandwich. That's the way I say it, so oh well. But yeah, you could sit there, have your lunch with your headphones. You can be listening and eating, and it's just something that you don't have to be in front of flashcards. Although I do tell you guys to do your flashcards. A lot of you want to sit there and argue with me. It never fails either. Every time I do one of these episodes, I get emails. I don't want to do flashcards. Then don't. Again, if you want to take my advice, good. If you don't, then move on. All right. But I'm telling you now, with your flashcards, you can even sit there with any flashcards that you have and just work with those while you're eating your lunch. That's already 1 hour that you've spent, okay? That you would have otherwise let that time go, all right? Now you're going home, okay? And I tell you all, don't study for more than 1 hour at a time, because your brain is not going to be able to retain all of the stuff that you're trying to put into it. Because we are adults. We don't think like we did when we were in high school, right? When you're in high school and you have all the time in the world to study, because that is your job. When you are in school is to study. So if you're an adult, now you have to worry about a car note, your house note, your family, and taking care of all the other things that you need to take care of, and making sure that you can have everything that you need. So you need to be a little kinder to yourself as an adult and being an adult student. Having the mindset of, I don't think I can get this done, is unacceptable. That is not acceptable. That is not applicable here. You need to get that out of your head. This is something that you can get done. This is why AHIMA allows 12 months for people to get this stuff done. When I was in school, now it was self-paced. It's a little bit different. Now, I did make it through quickly. I'm not going to talk about how quickly I made it through, but I made it through quickly because I am very driven and I'm very determined. People can do whatever it is that they want to do, and they can give themselves as much focus as they want to, but it is all on the individual. I am a firm believer that nobody is inherently lazy. I am a firm believer that if you truly do want something, you're going to do anything and everything to go after it and get it. So for me, okay, I had this plan. You know, I was back at home with my mom, and that was okay for me because I really love my mom. But you know, I was going through a time in my life where I was going through a divorce, and I had an ex-husband in my ear trying to tell me that, oh no, I couldn't do it. Oh, really? Oh, you think I can't do it? Let me show you something. So I was able to get through that time, but my motivation was the fact that I wanted to start my life over again. I had been in a marriage for 10 years and I needed to get going again. So that was where I was at that time. I didn't let that stop me. And I went ahead and I did my thing, and I passed my certification exam on the first try, and that was a CCA, and that was back then. So fast forward to this year, you know, I have my YouTube audience, I have all of you guys that I think about, so I have to be able to do these things. I have places in my career that I want to go, which is what was driving me on when I was taking that certification, those 2 certifications last year. And it's not just that. I went through 2 online coding boot camps with HC Pro. I do not recommend online coding boot camps for those of you who do not have experience in coding. I happen to be able to go through them because I have experience, so I have some kind of knowledge. If you don't have any knowledge and you try to go to one of these boot camps through HC Pro, great program by the way, but if you try to go through one of these programs, it's not going to make a lot of sense, and you're just going to feel like you're drinking from a fire hose. So don't do that to yourselves. Now, again, it's about setting your priorities. If you are not motivated enough, if you want to keep saying, oh, I don't think I can make it, then you're probably not going to make it, and you should probably stop, right? No, that's not what you want, because you want to be a medical coder. You want to be able to provide a better life for your family and for yourself. And in order to do that, you need to stop with that negative talk. You need to get on the ball. Again, look at that. You had 1 hour already. That's 5 hours during the week. Now let's talk about like the evening time, right? The evening time when you could study for another hour, or maybe even 2 hours, because you could split it up. Well, guess what? Now you've got 3 hours, right? 3 hours that you can do in a day, right? And during the week, that's already 15 hours. And then you got 5 hours on the weekend that you can split up however you want to. You can have it done all in one day. You could start your Saturday morning listening to something. You can start doing the exercises for another hour in the afternoon, and then breaking it up another one with flashcards and everything else, changing it up so that way that you don't get bored. Your brain doesn't stagnate when you're with what you're doing, okay? So, and then you have your 20 hours right there, and that's consistent 20 hours per week. It's doable, folks. But there's too many people out there that want to sit there and make excuses. Oh no, I've got my kids, Blue. Oh no, I've got this and I've got that. I have many people on my channel who have written me with children who have disabilities, who they need help, and they are still able to take the time for their studies and pass. Are they tired? Yes, because it is just temporary. In order to get what we want and what we need in life, we need to have a little bit of sacrifice. But nowadays, there's a lot of people that want things instantaneously. They want to be able to learn it right away. They want to be able to put as little effort as possible. And this is why I don't do TikToks. This is why I don't do Reels, because it's too quick. I don't do quick, guys. Look at any of my videos, the length of time. I don't do quick, right? Because it takes time to be able to explain these things. And I think if people actually started to slow down and start to listen to this stuff, then they wouldn't be so lost, all right? So take the time to focus on your studies. Stop saying that you're not going to be able to finish within a year, because yes, it is possible. I always tell people 9 months, 12 months, or 18 months. And now if you're working it, 9 months is doable. If you are working full time, a whole year is doable. It is completely doable. But making excuses is not going to get you anywhere. So put the excuses aside, and let's get moving on learning the coding and learning the coding guidelines and reading them and making that time in between. Listening to those channels on YouTube for medical terminology and anatomy. And I don't care if you're already done with your medical terminology and anatomy. A lot of medical coders could use a brush up on medical terminology and anatomy. Trust me. Pathophysiology is another one as well. So make sure that you're listening to those, giving your mind that stimulus. And the HIPAA as well. There's CMS that is chock full of free resources that you can download. And again, I've shared all of that on my Patreon channel. So if this is you, and this is you trying to think of all the ways that, you know, this isn't going to work out, or this or that, you know, you really need to think long and hard about why you started to do this in the first place. Get back to that motivation right there, because that motivation is going to be the one to carry you. If you want to sit there and make all the excuses in the world, all that time you spend making excuses, you could have been studying. Whether it's 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or 1 hour. That time you spend making excuses, you could have been studying. Do you have to stay up, wake up a little early? Yes. 30 minutes more early. That's fine. Or if you don't want to wake up early, then when all the kids are put to bed, then you go and you do your studies. And I don't care. I don't care when people tell me, I'm tired. You don't want to look at my schedule then. You do not want to look at my schedule, because my schedule will make anybody tired. But I'm still here, and I'm still with all of you. So with that being said, don't let your dreams and your goals go to waste because you want to sit there and make excuses. Stop making excuses. Get up and start doing your studies. Study for 1 hour at a time. Stop. Take a break. 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Say hello to your kids. Hug your spouse. Get back to work, and then do another 30 minutes or 45 minutes. Break it up just like that. Listen while you're at work. Listen while you're in the car on the way to on your way to work. Anything. Guys, get that time in, because all that time does add up, and you can do it. So if that hopefully that will get y'all going, because there's plenty of videos on my channel that talk about, you know, motivation and things like that when you need it. And I understand, because I'm a student myself, right? And I have said I'm a student. I've been a student since 2008, because with medical coding, you're always going to learn. We have to know what doctors know while never having gone to medical school. We have to know what doctors know while never having gone to medical school. We have to be able to read and understand what they're saying. It takes time. So give yourself a break when you don't understand it right away, because you're not going to understand it right away. It will take years to understand, but you can do it. You can. Stop making excuses and get in there and get it done. And that's what I'm going to leave the message like that today. If you haven't already had a chance to subscribe, I hope that you do. Like this if it helped you, and share it, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.